Radio Free 102.3 KJLH. It is the front page legal clinic. That's because it's the first Monday of the month. And my colleague and friend Zoran Basich is here. Zoran Basich is an attorney with over 30 years experience doing elder care work and as an elder care advocate. And we're going to be speaking with him, taking your phone calls, 520-KJLH, 520-5554, right after this.
Welcome to the Monday Mind Gym with astrologer, numerologist Sahara Ali on Radio Free 102.3
Good morning, Dominique and the KJLH front page family.
Good morning, Sahara.
Hey, Dominique, how's everything?
All well.
Wonderful. So today's Mind Gym is all about getting clear and accepting the truth we stand for. Also to look at how we are willing to express our truth and the courage to face our inner wisdom. We have a new moon on Tuesday in Leo, with Mercury moving there on Wednesday. So this astrological placement supports deep emotional clearing, physical creativity, and this new moon is all about the freedom of truth of the subconscious mind. So our Mind Gym exercise is to spend some time free-form writing. Free-form writing allows us to get clear, to empty the mind of our overwhelming thoughts that may block clear vision, and it also gives us masterful communication. To freeform write, you will need a pen and some paper, preferably a quiet space to allow your thoughts to flow. Don't try to control what you write, just let it flow freely. As you are working with the subconscious mind, you will naturally stop once the mind is clear while you're freeform writing. After your mind has been exercised, the Mind Gym affirmation time. I allow myself to trust the truth of God flowing through me, create peace of mind and wholeness. I allow myself to trust the truth of God flowing through me, create peace of mind and wholeness. So this new moon and Mercury moving into Leo, all about allowing yourself to find your truth in your freeform writing. And to use our affirmation again, I allow myself to trust the truth of God flowing through me to create peace of mind and wholeness. So thank you, Dominique, and the KJLH front page family on Radio Free 102.3. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, Sahara. It's always good to hear from you. Sahara Ali, every Monday on the Mind Gym. It is the front page. Attorney Zoran Basich is with us. He's got 3 decades guiding elderly people and their families through the maze of money, real estate, health and wellness, and basic family affairs.
That's absolutely correct.
Zoran
Good morning.
Basich is with us. Good morning, Zoran.
Good to be here.
Phone lines always light up when you hear 520-KJLH. 520-5554 is the number to call if you have a question. It's the front page legal clinic. Zoran is a well-qualified attorney who can answer your questions about wills and trusts, about divorce,
Estate planning.
Retirement.
And one of the most important ones is nursing home care, Medi-Cal, how to pay for it, getting those $100,000 a year in coverage.
Zoran, you've been doing this for a long time, and there are tons and tons of people retiring, but it seems like hardly anyone's talking about these topics. Why is that?
You know, first of all, denial is alive and well. Second of all, there aren't a lot of solid answers for a lot of people. People just don't know what to tell or advise. And so the information is not readily available. The information is there, but it's not being spread. The fact of the matter is there's some good planning techniques. One of the big issues as we get older is we get ill, and illness is costly, and knowing how to handle that's important. Knowing how to transition, how to make sure that when you retire wisely, making sure that the dollars are there, making sure that you've got the kind of coverage you need for the care you're going to need. All of that becomes an issue, and it's just overwhelming. Most lawyers deal with one category, trusts and wills or estate planning or one component. The fact of the matter is this is all dominoes. If you don't touch it right on the left side, it's going to fall apart on the right side. You've got to cover all the different topics, and so it's really very important, and yet not many people talk to that topic.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking maybe it was because we all want to pretend we're young forever.
Denial's
so we don't have
alive.
to do. But yet, here we have Congress getting ready to vote, trying to vote out Obamacare for the 40th time.
It's amazing. It absolutely is amazing.
Obamacare, or the Affordable Health Care Act, is controversial, remains controversial. But as you said, the issues of how do we cover the costs of health care are really an economic issue as well as a personal issue.
And Obamacare, there's nothing wrong with Obamacare. Obamacare is really nothing more than modifications to Medicare that are going to open up the doors to 50 million people who would otherwise not have this care. In fact, it's going to reduce the cost of care for everybody. It's going to do better care for everybody because those people that don't have coverage now will be able to get it much quicker. They'll be able to get in when they have a problem rather than let the problem fester. And so really Obamacare is going to save money. I almost dislike the name Obamacare. I resent the derogative component of it. The fact of the matter is it's really a change in Medicare, and Medicare is going to open up certain doors that should have been opened a long time ago.
The Affordable Health Care Act, I guess, is the official name.
That's correct.
Why is it so controversial then? Why are we seeing the 40th vote in Congress to get rid of this if, in fact, it's going to end up saving taxpayers money in the long run?
Politics, fear tactics. There's so much media being played out right now and actual ads being paid for to scare small business owners into believing that this is going to be the worst thing that's ever happened since the loss of apple pie and ice cream. Fact of the matter is it's really going to help everybody, but there are fear tactics. Money is being spent. There are people in political places that really have a lot to benefit by keeping this system out of play.
And we hear a lot of talk about, the cost of Social Security is so big, the cost of Medicare is so big, the cost of the Affordable Health Care Act is so big, and all the conversation about trimming back. And when we have these conversations, we really don't talk about the cost of trimming back. If people are not on Social Security, who's going to pay for them to eat? If the food stamp program is
absolutely.
cut, what is the cost of that? If Medicare is cut, what is the actual cost of that if the elderly are not getting the care that they need, and as you say, waiting until it's a huge crisis? What is the actual cost of that?
Billions. And the fact of the matter is they have done study upon study upon study for the last 4 years, and they know they're going to save billions of dollars in the long run with the implementation of this act and these different changes. These changes are going to actually reduce the cost. One of the things that happens to everybody, those of you listening know this, you have a sick family member, they go home too early from a hospital or nursing home because they're trying to save dollars. They get them home, they fall down, they break their hip, they go right back in the emergency room. The cost of care through that cycle is about triple or quadruple what it would cost if you could get the care before it became a festered problem, and that's really the issue here.
It's the same thing with our emergency rooms. People complain here in Los Angeles the emergency rooms are crowded. To some people, the answer is get rid of the immigrants and there'll be more room. The problem is when people are poor, whether they're immigrants or not, and they don't have coverage, they often wait until it's an emergency room level problem or the emergency room becomes primary care. And guess who's paying for that?
Well, we're all paying for that. But
We are.
35 million Americans don't have health coverage, and they are using the emergency room as their primary health care provider. It has nothing to do with immigrants. It's got to do with the fact that 35 million people right now don't have other avenues, and the ER is the only avenue, and that would be eliminated once you put insurance into play. And that is what the Affordable Care Act is really going to do.
And of course, that's part of my issue, whether they're immigrants or not, is I don't want your kid who's sick sitting next to my kid who's not sick because you couldn't afford health care. So I don't care who you are. We need to make sure you get the treatment you need so we're not spreading disease and epidemics all around because we feel that we're being cheap.
Absolutely. Everybody's better off if everybody's healthy, wealthy, and wise. The stronger we make everyone, the more educated we make them, the more they know, the better they know, the better the decision making, the less likely everybody is impacted badly. And that's really the fact. And you got to start somewhere. And Obama was brave enough to start. Obama put his foot down and said, look, I think we need national health care. Fact of the matter is it's going to benefit everybody across the board.
You deal with elder care, but a lot of times that comes down to boomers because
Absolutely.
The baby boomers are the ones. Some of the baby boomers are now getting to be seniors themselves, elder seniors, but many are taking care of their senior parents.
I look at a mirror and it scares me to no end, and that's very much the case. You've got actually boomers who are taking care of children and taking care of parents, and
their
they're really
own children
sandwiched.
And their parents.
Exactly, and in some cases the kids have moved back in. They've got adult kids at home, and they've got parents very frail, very ill. And again, people need to know all the systems that are available. The other problem here is the systems that are available to you as a person that's a boomer are not readily presented. There's no advertising or marketing saying to you, look, Medi-Cal is available to middle-class Americans and it'll cover $100,000 worth of nursing home care. And the reason why that's not advertised is because it would break the back of the insurance industry who's selling long-term care insurance. They don't really want anybody to know you can get $100,000 worth of nursing home care if you need it. So the system's not designed to put information out. The system's designed to keep you ignorant, and that's what we're not going to allow here.
Well, and this is LA, so a lot of boomers not only have adult children moving back in, they have little children
That's
that they
absolutely
just
correct.
recently made. And then they have their elderly parents, and they're dealing with both at once. But there's help out there, and that's the thing that people don't know. As you mentioned, Medi-Cal, if you're in another state, that's Medicaid.
Correct.
Which can help you, and it's still there. And this is one of the myths. I was talking with another attorney friend of mine about, she was talking about criminal cases, but how many times we go by what a friend said. Well, my friend said, well, my homie said, well, my girlfriend said. But these people are not lawyers. And so we're going based on rumors. And one of these rumors, people think that Medi-Cal is only for poor people.
And it's such an erroneous opinion, because the fact of the matter is, I in 34 years of practice, 99% of the families that have come to us that are middle-class families, some own a business, own a home, own apartment buildings, have qualified. Medi-Cal is a middle-class program. Why that's so pivotal is it gives them $100,000 to $200,000 a year in nursing home care that they don't know about. You know, and once you spend that money, once you spend money you don't have, you can basically be broke. You can't re-earn it. If you're retired, you can't re-earn $100,000. You are out of those dollars, and
No
that's
one's going to give it. No one's going to refund it.
No one's
to
going
you
to call you and say, "Hey, by the way." Yeah.
I mean, there is Medi-Cal for people who are needy. That's part
Absolutely.
of the program, but it's not the whole program.
No, there's medically needy Medi-Cal and there's long-term care Medi-Cal, and they do very different things, and they are available to two very different groups. But the fact of the matter is, everyone listening should know about them, along with a variety of other things, from wills to trusts to estate planning. People need to know all of these variables that wealthy Americans can afford to get information on. They go out and they get their lawyer to do this, do that. They've got tax advisors, they've got financial planners, they've got all kinds of support. The average middle-class American is walking around hoping they're going to get it right, and they shouldn't be hoping or guessing. They need to get good information, and the homie shouldn't be advising you. The lawyer or the family member that's educated and knows the topic should be advising you.
It's the front page, 520-KJLH, 520-5554, the number to call from any area code. If you want to speak with Zoran Basich, it's like having your own attorney on call. There are some very sort of fundamental things that you want every family to have. You want us to all have at least a will, powers of attorney for health care and finance, and possibly a trust.
That's absolutely correct. And the reason for that is powers of attorney for healthcare and finance will save you a lot of money. They'll allow you to act on behalf of an ill family member. If your mom or dad are sick and they need decision making with a power of attorney for healthcare and a power of attorney for finance, and these are called durable powers, which means they're good after mom or dad becomes incapacitated, they will allow you to step in and save $20,000, $30,000 in conservatorship costs and get the care they need and make decision making. The other thing is wills. You need a will because you need to know where things are going. Otherwise, family members fight over everything. Preferably a trust, because it'll avoid probate. It'll avoid some other things. One of the major benefits of a trust is you also have the opportunity to keep everything private. It doesn't have to be publicized. So again, wills, powers of attorney, those kinds of issues are pivotal. Everyone should have one. You don't need a lawyer to do this. You can go to a stationery store and get those powers of attorney for $2 or $3 a piece. It's not always necessary to have an attorney, but there are times when only an attorney will do, because you want to have someone to blame if it doesn't work out exactly the way you want, you know?
If you want to blame Zoran, you can always reach him at 1-800-7-SENIOR, 1-800-7-SENIOR during regular business hours. And you also have a website, nhscare.com.
That's correct, nhscare.com.
As in Nursing Home Solutions, nhscare.com. We'll have it linked at DominiqueDiprima.com. You've got information, basic information on a lot of these facts. But something interesting you pointed out to me, a lot of us think we don't have anything to write a will about, but if you really start taking inventory, there are some things that need to be put in order.
We take a lot for granted. We forget what we have earned and what we've actually created, and sometimes we don't even remember we have it. So it's very, very important not to lose sight of that.
And you want all of us to have prenuptial agreements too, even if we are
it's
not.
It's a touchy subject, dear.
Even if we're not wealthy like Michael Jackson.
Well, we want to keep what we have and not lose it unnecessarily.
520-KJLH, 520-5554. We've got Tina calling from L.A. Good morning, Tina. You're on with Zoran Basich on the front page.
Hi, Dominique. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I want to ask him. My husband passed in October. I'm trying to keep the house. It's not behind. I want to know, is there any kind of way I can get the house pretty much in my name on the deed?
Well, Tina, if you were joint tenants, which most couples have their property in joint tenancy, which means a right of survivorship, when he passed, it should have passed to you automatically. What you need to do is get a certificate of death, and it should be a certified copy of that, and you're going to need to file an affidavit death of a joint tenant with the county. It's not a hard process. You probably can get some help with any number of clinics in the area, but it's certainly doable, and you can probably do it on your own. Look online for affidavit death of joint tenant. It's not an expensive process, and that should actually move the property over to you free and clear.
For real?
Yes.
Then I can go to get a modification thing?
What you want to do again is go get a certificate of death, a certified copy of his death certificate, and make sure you record that with the Los Angeles County. That will let the county know that he has passed and that property is now in your name only.
Okay.
And then if you want to proceed to a modification after that, you're going to have to either contact a reputable nonprofit like the LA Neighborhood Housing Services, or contact a reputable person, attorney, or someone like my friend Marie Deary over at Wealth Management, who can help you through the process, because there are actual mathematical formulas and steps.
Can I get her number, please?
Stay on hold for me.
Okay, thank you.
Zoran's number is 1-800-7-SENIOR. I should know Marie's number by heart, but I don't. But it's hers. Her website is Wealth Management LB for Long Beach, wealthmanagementlb.com. You can find her there. So good luck to you, and stay on hold. We'll get you the number for Marie Deary as well. Joe from LA, you're on the radio. Welcome. Joe?
Yes.
It's your turn.
Yeah, I'm a matron in healthcare at Cal State Long Beach, and we've had these conversations about the affordable health care. And personally, I think it is great for those who are uninsured right now who need insurance. But at the same time, they said a lot of small companies or hospitals and organizations are going out of business because they can't afford some of the implementations like the electronic medical records.
It's interesting. You hear this talking point over and over again, but I've read quite a few articles that have said that the dire predictions of these businesses going under have not yet actualized. Is that your impression?
No, they haven't actualized. They're really not going to actualize. Joe, I know what you're saying. There are going to be some changes, some amendments, and there are actual ways to defer some of those. But the bottom line is we are moving into an electronic age. All of these businesses need to be electronic to compete. There's nothing being forced upon them that isn't really in their best interest to begin with. I don't believe Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, or for that matter, any of these systems are going to do any more than strengthen the backbone of small business, frankly.
The thing about the electronic piece is that it may be mandated within the Affordable Health Care Act, but that's the way the world is going. If you don't go electronic, you go in the way of the dinosaurs. That, Affordable Health Care Act or not, it's happening in radio, it's happening everywhere. That's, look at all these small businesses now that can take your credit card. Probably the t-shirt vendors on Crenshaw can take your credit card now because all they have to do is slide it on the phone, right? It's a new day. And sadly, if unless you're selling pineapples on a hill somewhere in Hawaii, you're pretty much going to have to come into the electronic age.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree with that. But then there's also a healthcare professional shortage. And so with more and more people having coverage, which they should, there's just a longer wait to be serviced. Like, we don't have the resources to cover all of these insured because they're not
now this is
hiring
really interesting
professionals.
because I've heard this conversation that the advent of the Affordable Health Care Act means that we'll now have a shortage of doctors and nurses. Well, if we had a shortage of doctors and nurses before the Health Care Act, that means we're still going to have it now. So what we're saying then is that we shouldn't insure people because we don't have enough doctors, so only the wealthy should have access to doctors, or perhaps we should upgrade our STEM, our science technology curriculum and get more of our young people in the pipeline to be doctors.
There was an article less than 2 days ago talking about 80% of the large hospitals out there right now are laying people off 2 days a week on furloughs because they're not covering the cost of those employees. The employees are available, they're just not managing those dollars well. If they were getting paid for the services they were providing rather than worrying about how to make ends meet, they'd be bringing those people on board. That's about a 25% improvement in the flow of patient care per week.
So you're saying because the way the hospitals are managing the budgets that they do have, and because of the uncovered people that they're actually being forced to care for, that they're not hiring the employees, that the employees
they're actually furloughing the employees they have. They're actually taking employees and saying, on Friday you'll take this day off, so you're going to work only 4 days, not 5. And so one of the major ones, Walter Reed right now is doing about 30% less surgeries because they're furloughing certain employees during certain days of the week, Friday being the big day because everybody takes 3-day weekends. So the fact of the matter is, this has got nothing to do with Obamacare. This has got to do with managing our money, our resources, and as we grow older, we have to do a better job of everybody that we touch. We can't do a worse job because it's going to make it more difficult. Fact of the matter is, if we do good care, and if the care is provided quickly, and we don't let it fester, if it doesn't become a broken hip and a broken back because we've already taken care of that foot, it's a far less costly system.
So you're saying that there really is no doctor shortage?
There's no real doctor shortage.
Interesting. I always wondered how there could be a doctor shortage when there's like 5,000 plastic surgeons within one square block in Beverly Hills. I mean, how is there a real doctor shortage? Or is it a situation where doctors simply are struggling to profit the way the system is set up?
Well, profitability has become more and more difficult because the insurance industry has its own vested interest in how it makes the rules and laws. And the insurance companies actually make laws because they spend a lot of money influencing a lot of people politically to make the right choices so they don't have to pay more than they absolutely need to. And this has been actually a real angry moment for them because they could not control the Obamacare train. They are now forced to have to pay for care, but in fact that care is going to be cheaper in the long run.
Let's go to Barbara from LA. Hi Barbara, you're on with Zoran. Basich, nhscare.com on the front page.
Yeah, my question is that I was awarded a decision 14 years ago from the Social Security Office for an overpayment. And since that time, the Social Security Office has continued to retrieve those funds. And my question is, what do I need to do in order for them to uphold the decision?
In other words, they're still charging you?
Yes.
Even though you won the decision?
Yes, I won the decision. I've taken my